News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager. Iran may be closer to a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
Could happen tomorrow or the next day. A lot of progress has been made.
That was President Trump speaking to reporters on the tarmac at LAX last night. Bloomberg Middle East correspondent Abeer Omar reports it's not a done deal yet.
Iran did come out through state media and said, actually, the negotiations that are happening don't have the U.S. included in them, that the negotiations when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz are happening only between Iran and Oman at this point. Here is a line from that Iranian state media, citing a source familiar with the matter, saying that the potential agreement between Iran and Oman regarding the passage of vessels through the Strait of Hormuz has nothing to do with the United States. It is merely a mechanism that is being discussed with Oman.
Bloomberg's Abeer Omar reporting from Dubai. Right now, Brent crude is trading higher, up about 0.4%, trading close to $80 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate is little change to lower. It's just shy of $76. And stocks are mostly higher. The S&P 500 is up 0.2%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is leading gains, up 0.9%, or about 500 points. The NASDAQ Composite is little change to the downside, a drop there of about 10 points. The 10-year Treasury yield is up 1 basis point to 4.63%. Stocks are aiming for a fifth straight day of gains. That would be the longest winning streak since mid-June. Almost 90% of companies that have reported earnings so far have beaten estimates. A hard-fought Democratic Senate primary in Michigan is going to the progressive. The Associated Press projects Abdul El Sayed will defeat establishment-backed Congresswoman Haley Stevens by just 1 percentage point. El Sayed will go on to face Republican former Congressman Mike Rogers in November. Bloomberg's Laura Davidson has more from Washington.
This is really, sort of a sign and will be a test for Democrats if a progressive candidate like El Sayed can win in a state that Donald Trump won, when he was running for president, and in one of those Rust Belt states that Democrats have been trying for years to try to crack the code on how they can succeed.
And Bloomberg's Laura Davidson reports it leaves the direction of the Democratic Party unclear. Some polls showed El Sayed leading Stevens by double digits, but his win in the poll that mattered was far closer than that. In another political development, North Carolina Republican Congressman Chuck Edwards says he will not seek re-election. That's after the House Ethics Committee recommended censure for sexual harassment allegations. That decision throws open a GOP nomination for a seat that the Cook Political Report rates as leans Republican in western North Carolina. Back to the markets now. We're keeping an eye on SpaceX shares. They are down 8%. The company reported $18 billion in capital spending in its first quarter as a publicly traded company. Bloomberg's Neil Campling reports that was a lot more than Wall Street expected.
If you look at the numbers, they are low in absolute terms relative to the hyperscalers. So the four big hyperscalers combined will spend roughly $1 trillion on CapEx next year. So investors are left wanting to know where SpaceX can afford to compete and whether they will need to come back to market at some point in the future to raise more capital.
And Bloomberg's Neil Campling reports SpaceX could come under even more pressure tomorrow when another $101 billion in shares will be released for sale for the first time. It's a happier story for Disney investors. Those shares are up 2% on solid results for the entertainment giant on the big screen and at the theme parks. Geetha Ranganathan covers Disney for Bloomberg Intelligence.
Their parks profit rose by 20% versus consensus expectations of 10.5%. And really what they pointed to was very, very strong attendance trends, both at the domestic parks, and very strong per capita spending.
Geetha Ranganathan with Bloomberg Intelligence. Disney's entertainment division also posted a 64% profit jump, even with a mixed bag from the latest Star Wars movie and the live-action Moana remake. Hiring hit a 6-month low last month on the private payroll provider ADP's report. Bloomberg's Michael McKee has that.
44,000 jobs created during the month of July in the private sector. That is less than the 65 that was forecast. Last month's 98 revised down slightly to 95.
Bloomberg's Mike McKee ahead of the government's numbers in the July non-farm payrolls report coming out this Friday. Live Golf may live to see another day. Sportico reports the Renegade Golf League has announced a deal with a new lead investor and interest from more than a dozen minority partners. Live isn't saying who the new investor is or how much they're spending, but does say the deal should close next month. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager, and this is Bloomberg.